I guess back in the day, you look at guys like Deion Sanders, like he had the suits, the
He was
chains
different.
out,
Yeah.
like it was comparable to what in our generation now,
Definitely.
it's the same thing to me.
Yes.
The nails, it's like whatever. You see like these guys painting their nails all the time. I don't get it. I don't do it.
Yeah,
But
who fucking cares, right? Like,
No, I'm
yeah,
too
like it's
manly for
more. I
that shit.
think that you'll probably see him make a lot of money from like brand deals by doing shit like he's doing now.
From
yeah,
players and
And it
shit.
might just be a business decision.
hilarious.
Like it just might be a business decision for him. He gets the
Maybe.
publicity, and that's it. But like it's for all of our teams in any sport. Like winning cures anything. Like if you
Yeah.
win, no one cares if you got pink hair and purple shoes.
They
Like
didn't care what Dennis Rodman was doing. Oh, hell nah.
Welcome to another edition of Hits and Hoops. I'm Tyler, and I'm here with my co-host, the one, the only Dixon Luna. What's goody, Chicho?
Yo, what's bracking? What's popping?
Cooling, my man, cooling. Today's episode, we have a recurring guest, Connor. What's goody, Con man?
what up? What up? What up?
Yo.
So with Connor being here, if you are a listener, you already know NFL, baby. A lot of NFL today, and an update on the NBA playoffs. Where to begin with the draft that was just about a week ago? So much has happened. Teams going into different directions. Teams going in, hopefully contending directions. I'm going to just start with the elephant in the room, boys. Why in the world, if you're the Atlanta Falcons with a top 8 pick, and you just signed the player that fits, what is I heard a quote, the player that fits the puzzle piece for this offense to become elite, correct? Have you heard the same? I'm assuming you have because everybody's quiet. Why in the world would you try? You're in a perfect position with plenty of O-line. There were 15 offensive players that were drafted before a defensive player was drafted. Why in the fucking world would you get the not third, but fourth or fifth or possibly even sixth best quarterback in the top 8? I don't understand it. Dixon, I know your thoughts on Kirk Cousins. Where do you stand on this move that
I
Atlanta
think
went in this direction?
I think they did the move. They saw the pod, they saw the episode, we covered it, and then they started rethinking things. But in all seriousness, I feel like there was probably, different ideas, different directions within the facility. I feel like maybe some people wanted Cousins, some people weren't sure, but I think this is them kind of covering their own backs. Like, oh shit, what if this doesn't work out? Then this will be a terrible contract. This will be a terrible move. So I think it's kind of them getting their own like security check just in case this move doesn't pan out, because he is older quarterback, non-mobile, coming off an Achilles, and very highly paid.
Okay,
So
but one thing I get that, and that's responsible of them, right? I guess, right?
yeah,
One thing that kills me though is that instead of getting Kirk Cousins, using that pick as an asset, or maybe a couple other picks to get a real proven guy, why wouldn't you just do that? Like, why wouldn't you, like a team that, I mean, this is a long shot, but like, say they wanted to go after Herbert and they threw a bunch of picks in and kind of be our missing piece. Just teams that are resetting. But Connor, what is your thoughts on this debacle?
Yeah, I think that's the right word for it. You pay Kirk Cousins what, $180 million for 4 years off an ACL or
facts.
off an Achilles, excuse me. When there's so much more of a need. When your receiver room is Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Rondale Moore, I think that you could have easily grabbed Rome Odunze. In my opinion, it was the top three receiver in the draft. But you go with an insurance pick in the top 10 is a little bit confusing for me, for
This
sure.
is like the Jordan Love pick, but on steroids.
Yeah, I think that maybe because the quarterback class coming next and like the year after is so weak as of right now,
Okay.
maybe that's their thought. Maybe they have I think they have an out after 2 years. But there's just bigger fish to fry for that pick, and I think they just completely missed it.
Another thing I wanted to say, top six quarterbacks drafted in the top 12 picks, right? That's pretty incredible, right? I don't even think you can do that shit in a Madden league, right? Do you think this is some sort of maybe a possible trend, right? In the T. Lawrence draft, there was four
The
quarterbacks
legendary draft.
drafted in the first 14 picks, right? And only one of them is still on the same team, and that was not very long ago, right? Do you think this is the overreaction of quarterbacks, taking quarterbacks in the draft?
I think it's a combination of like that. I think the quarterback position is being more valued each day. But I also think it's like once in a while you do have a stacked draft class. And even though those quarterbacks didn't pan out to be good NFL quarterbacks, they were great collegiate quarterbacks. So I think just once in a while you do get a stacked QB class. And this year just happened to be one of them. And one more thing on the Kirk Cousins thing.
Not
He ain't got enough sauce to be in ATL, man. They needed some sauce in there. They needed to bring some color in there. They needed to bring it back for the culture one time. Come on now. Them girls ain't gonna get it done, Kirk.
Connor, your thoughts on the quarterbacks in this draft?
I think it's definitely was probably the strongest quarterback draft that I've personally ever seen.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Yeah, I
Hold
mean,
on now.
yeah, I mean, you think about it like, you talked about how they were, great collegiate quarterbacks in the draft that we had, what, like 2 years ago? But I feel like this is a more solid, well-rounded a bunch of quarterbacks. Like, for my speaking purposes, Zach Wilson had that one big throw that everybody remembers, his little
Yeah,
rollout throw
right.
like six, and that was got him.
Dixon that everybody remembers.
Just the one throw.
Just the one throw.
I still got
That's
PTSD from
it.
that throw.
Just that one throw in his little pro day. But legit, I mean, you look at guys like Caleb
They're more
Williams,
accomplished. This draft class,
yeah,
is
way
'cause
more
that
accomplished,
class,
way more
Trey Lance was in
well-rounded.
there. He barely even played like high school.
Exactly. So I think it's a great draft, a great quarterback draft, and I think it might have been an even better offensive line draft. But
that's another
Big
thing.
O-line draft for sure.
We
big
have
O-line.
four O-lines in the top 14. And one thing I want to say is Joe Alt, when he got drafted to the Chargers, did one of the most awkward hugs to his girlfriend I've ever seen. That was wild. And
Which one? The O-line?
My man,
What happened?
he roboted over to her, like hug her, but he like sat up and almost did a half a stretch for whatever reason, and then like maneuvered his body so awkwardly. It's something. It's just stupid, but I don't know why that was like, whoa, that was
So like
weird as fuck.
so what happened was she got his phone earlier that day. Phone was going
Shit.
crazy draft day.
Hey, one thing I like to look at is like where's the girlfriend at, right? Or where's, some are married, maybe, I don't know, but where's the girlfriend at in the pecking order of
close?
fam? Yeah.
There's been a few legendary girlfriend moments. Remember CD Lamb?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I ain't never seen someone. Hey, he ain't never moved that fast on the football field. How quick?
Hey, as soon as he did that, I said, "Oh, he's a dog for sure."
He had two phones. She took one. He said, "We're not doing that."
I was like,
And
"He's
then
gonna be
another
dog on the
one
field
was
because of that."
Russell Wilson's girlfriend at the time. She was going crazy. She was going crazy, and then I don't know what happened to her.
So Connor, back to the quarterbacks. Who is your favorite? I'm assuming Caleb Williams is your number one.
Yeah, I would say Caleb Williams for sure is like the solidified number one. I mean, but I like Jaden Daniels, but I think he just kind of is a little bit too reckless with how he kind of plays the quarterback position. But I like Drake Maye, actually. It just looks like a typical New England quarterback that's going to be there for like 15 years and just
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
just bring both
I
of
hope
us
not.
down, both of our teams down for years to come. But yeah, I'd probably say Caleb Williams. I mean, I think he's just a generational talent, and I feel like we have one of those at draft though. So we'll really see what happens next.
Drake May's a project, right? That's what I'm hearing, right? I watched a little bit of him because I live in the Carolinas. I didn't watch every UNC game, but if it was on, I would watch it. And I remember last year, I don't know if it was his first game or coming out game against Miami, and he torched them. And that's when I was like, okay, who's Drake May? And then coming into this year, he was a lot more known and sought out highly after.
You know what?
But
Let me know he was like fire.
uh,
First of all, the first name Drake
okay,
automatically, right?
all right.
Second of all, for him to go to North Carolina, which has never been known for anything football related, and make noise out there and be a top 3 pick, it's because he's a special prospect. So definitely keep an eye.
Yeah. I think he'll be. I agree with you, Connor. Like, I feel like he's going to be exciting, but it's unfortunate he's in New England.
They saying the Josh Allen comparisons. I'm like, slow down. Josh Allen is like,
Yeah, come on, bro. He's a
I
top
mean,
three
I get
quarterback.
it.
Like,
I know
he's a
what they're
god.
trying to say, like big body, big arm, athletic, but Josh Allen is an alien. Like
I
that,
don't think he's athletic as Josh Allen.
not
Like,
that big.
he's incredibly big. You said, wait, this is not my house.
Pretty much. I got lost inside my own house.
Yeah, you said, wait a second. So, Connor, out of those 3 quarterbacks, the back 3, McCarthy, Penix, and
About Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, out of those 3,
I mean, the best pick out of those three, I think, was JJ McCarthy. And I really, really, really thought he was either going to go to the Giants or go to the Patriots. Um, but I mean, the Bo Nix pick kind of confused me almost as bad as the Penix like pick. Like you trade for Zach Wilson, right? You got like 3 guys in there already. Like, what's the point of adding him into the mix? I didn't understand the pick. I think they have bigger holes in that roster, but I think the Bo Nix pick was kind of the worst of the 3, and I think the McCarthy pick was probably the best out of the 3, in
okay.
my opinion.
Him going to Minnesota.
Yeah, like being a Michigan kid playing in a big program already, like he knows the pressures of a big program. So it's like kind of the same thing in my opinion. When you go to those bigger schools, OSU, OU, Michigan, like you kind of are okay with fans and people screaming at you and shit like that. So I like that pick probably the best.
Dixon, what receiver are you most excited for in this?
There's a white boy receiver, bro. First round, late pick by the Niners.
Okay.
That really caught my attention. Ricky Pearsall. I don't even know how to say his last name. I don't even know if I'm saying that correct, from Florida. That really caught my attention. There's actually 2. There's another white boy in the second round, the cornerback. I
Cooper
think
DeJean.
yes,
Kid from
sir.
Oh my God, what a pick.
Yes,
What a pick.
sir. I know y'all know. Y'all have to know these people. I think the Eagles got him, right? Or who got him on the
Yeah,
second?
the Eagles
Eagles, yeah,
snatched him
Eagles.
up. Probably the steal of the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've
They
been
they
hearing
traded
great
up for
things
him, if
about
I'm not
that kid.
mistaken.
So to have a white receiver in the first round followed by DB, that's even more rare. I'm like, hold on, let me keep an eye on these 2.
Connor, receivers, who do you think has the best situation?
Like from the first round,
Just in any round. I mean,
in
any.
any round, I had a my sleeper pick of the draft actually was by the Dolphins is Malik Washington, the kid that played with Penix over there.
Yeah,
I mean, the kid led all receiving, and they got him at pick 184. I like that, and I love I mean, obviously the Marvin Harrison pick too. I think that team right there is gonna have some fireworks, like because he's just so good, and hopefully that him and Kyler Murray can kind of like get on the same page. And then my last one was probably Xavier Worthy from Texas to go to the Chiefs. That
yes,
team, you
sir.
talk about the Dolphins being fast. That team is fast. Hollywood Brown, this kid
Oh,
broke the
yeah.
record way. I think he ran like a 4.21 40, which doesn't even make any sense. And
Crazy.
you're just loading up Mahomes with like the fucking nastiest weapons. Is like those 3 are like my there. But I do love. I mean, like I said, Malik Washington, Dolphins. I was I was upset.
Mm.
But, as in for Harrison, do you have a would you have a player comp for him?
Yeah, Marvin Harrison, his
Wow.
his dad. Yeah, dude, I think they're.
Wow.
I mean, they're a very similar player. Like they don't blow you away with speed, but he's just attacks the football at the high point, like we saw Marvin Harrison do. Um, I think that's it, dude. I think like Keenan Allen type, a little bit smaller though.
I think he's a
Wow.
lot more like physical than his dad.
Yeah,
A lot more
What's
physically
the
gifted.
what's
You
the
know, the
size
chicken
comparison?
nowadays.
Is Harrison Jr. bigger?
I don't know. I'll check that.
He looks
All right.
bigger just
Yeah,
on
we'll get
film.
IT on that. One really weird thing that I thought about this draft was it took till 15 picks to get to a defensive player. There is no way that the first defensive player taken off the board is going to be 15th, and the Colts came up pretty much is what I'm trying to say, because I feel that everybody was so quarterback hungry. All these guys that should have been in the top 5, top 10 fell back because after about 15, 16, there was a couple more O-line taken, a couple more receivers, but it was all defense.
Right. I think that's also like what you were saying earlier. Like, not only is the quarterback position overvalued with time, but just offense in general.
Just
So
offense in
I
general,
think it could
yeah.
be a combination of things. Like it's maybe not the strongest defensive draft, but also just, teams just valuing the offensive positions like offensive tackle or offensive line and QB a lot more than any defensive position.
Is this the future though? Like,
Yeah, I
are we
think
gonna?
so.
No,
Yeah, for
unless it's like
sure.
a
I mean,
real game
I
changer.
keep seeing it trending that way, and I don't see anything that's gonna make it stop. The rules keep changing, like the numbers keep going up, so they see that it's working. Wait, are they really gonna put that pad shit on their helmets? You seen that,
Shit,
right?
I don't know. I saw that, but I kind of ignored it because I don't want it to be true.
Right.
I was like,
Connor, you heard
nah,
about
it ain't.
that?
It ain't.
What
NFL
is
y'all
it the
tripping.
the logo thing?
No, they have like a padded protection, like they wear
Oh,
in
that's the
their.
practice helmets. Yeah, they're called Guardian caps.
Are they gonna wear that in the games?
Nah, strictly for practice.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I was
Yeah,
Connor,
about to
there
but
was
say.
like an article on it recently. I don't know if
I
you
was
yeah.
about to
saw
say that shit look goofy.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't care how safe it is,
Yeah.
bro. Don't put that on the screen like that.
No, I could definitely see though, but I feel like the offensive line has become more valued. And you see
Yeah.
positions like running back completely devalued because
Exactly.
I think this year, especially with, I mean, think about all those quarterbacks that tore their Achilles or got hurt or had big injuries. It's literally almost all of them. And it's because they're not getting enough time or they're getting hit too hard. Like if you have a great offensive line, you're gonna have time to throw. You're gonna not get hit as much, and obviously that leads to less injuries. So I think that the offensive line trend is gonna come up even bigger than we think.
Going back to the quarterbacks, this is really the last thing I bring up about these quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is in one of the best situations that I know I can remember a quarterback going into.
They rolled out the red carpet for him.
They gave him they had him pull up to the crib, gave him the keys to the Lambo, keys to the house, and said, "Go for it."
That's it. Not they
Because I
didn't. Not
think
even the Benz. The Benz was right there chilling. They could have gave him that, but no, the Lambo.
I think if health is kind to them this year, I think they can actually be a really, really good offense. Defense they're building, but they put a lot of chips into their offense.
Keyword is offense, and I got super hype after that Romeo pick when they picked up the receiver, and I went out on a limb and said they're a playoff team. Since then, I had to think about it. I'm like, they really didn't do much on defense as much as they should have. I feel like they could have swapped one of those big moves, whether it was like an offseason signing or the draft pick for a defensive player. But like you said, offense, they should be fun to watch for
I
sure.
think the receiver pick was definitely a realistic thing though because of Keenan Allen being an older player.
Yeah, but they still got a number one over there in DJ.
Of course.
So
Of course, yeah. But
I feel like it was
whoever's
just,
better.
piling on, like building on what you're already strong at, not necessarily getting what you need or what you lack, which is, it's a respectable strategy. Defense
What
seems.
what are some of your guys' favorite picks? I know Connor, you alluded to some of yours, but Dixon, what are some picks that you know maybe not so known that you're into?
I mean, I already kind of mentioned it earlier. The cornerback and the wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
what are some of your least favorite then?
I can't say I was too happy with the Dolphins pickup,
Okay.
the first round pickup, the edge.
Chop.
Yeah, I would have felt more comfortable if we got like a classic defensive tackle, run stopper to, fill in for Wilkins.
Mhm.
I feel like we pretty decent at the edge, and I don't know. I feel like the defensive tackle was more of a cornerstone franchise piece than the edge. So I would have rather us did that or just went on the offense. Did like what the Bears did. Like, hey, we already got an elite offense, but let's double down. Let's make it even better. Let's like tweak it. Would have been cool for us to go that way as well.
Connor, what are some of your favorite picks?
Yeah, just to circle back to that Dolphins pick. Yeah, that was one that didn't make sense to me. Like you let Van Ginkel walk. I know he got
And
paid, but
Gankle,
yeah, like
I'll miss him.
their edge is good when healthy. Obviously, they had two pretty big injuries there, but um, the non-offensive line pick, like I think that we both of our teams need offensive line bad and depth too, but like I didn't get the edge pick. I think he's a good player. Like he's gonna start, he's gonna play, he's gonna do his thing.
Okay,
But
so he's a first rounder. Like he's a true
he's
first
no,
rounder.
he's definitely there was
Yeah,
not a question that he's not a first rounder. I just don't think it was the right fit at the moment for what they actually need. It
it's not
wasn't.
the player; it's like the position.
Yeah, like for us, like we didn't take Brock Bowers. That's a sexy pick. That's the pick you
That
want to
shit
get
was
everybody hype
sexy.
about.
Hey,
That's a sexy pick
that
right
was
there.
sexy right there, sitting.
But like we did, like we just said,
Y'all
all
made
right,
the
let's
adult
just.
choice though.
And hey, what happened last year? Our quarterback went down because of our left tackle, our left guards. We got, Tyron Smith, the best tackle or second best tackle in the league still, and then we got our cornerstone for the next 8 to 10 years at that position too. So, but I like that pick. I like Roman Wilson. I think the Steelers had the best draft in my opinion, and Roman Wilson, I think he was like pick 53 or something like that. He's a stud.
What
But yeah,
position? Where's he coming out of?
he was a receiver. He's a
Oh, okay,
receiver. Yeah,
okay.
he's a big receiver. But I mean, a lot of teams did it right.
And Steelers always their receiving team, whoever they got over there, the best
Yeah,
in the league
yeah,
at getting receivers.
yeah. They keep doing.
Oh,
They had a
they
good.
always do that shit. Fuck them.
Yeah, they had a
They
great
always do it.
offensive
It's
line.
fucking Heinz Ward and them boys, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Plaxico, and then they just kept
Mike
coming.
Wallace.
Antonio Holmes.
Fucking God. They grew an elite receiver for like 20 years.
Yep.
They still got one right now. Pickens.
Yeah, that'll be interesting how that pans out. So going back to that pick by the Jets, what's your reaction on the Jets full draft?
The full draft I think was solid. I think what kind of was like weird to me is like we drafted back-to-back running backs, which is I don't know. I didn't understand the. I got the first pick, like the kid from Wisconsin. He's like fucking massive. He's huge. He's kind of complements Brees Hall pretty good. More of like your ground and pound guy. But I think Dixon said the adult choice was the right word. Is build that offensive line. That was our downfall last year. Then we got our third round pick was Malachi Corley, who's known as the Yak King. So he led the last year and the year before in yak per reception and then yak overall.
So is
Oh,
that
wow.
your number 3? Like day one?
That would it would go Garrett, Mike Williams, Malachi, and then Lazard can go sit
Lazar
on the
still out
bench.
there?
Lazard can leave.
He can leave. He can go.
You know
and
he's
sit.
there just to talk with Aaron
Oh
after
yeah,
practice and shit.
yeah. That was the biggest like messed up signing that we've had so far.
Like, yo, Aaron's like, yo, my homeboy's gonna come play with us.
He got re-signed,
He's
or
not
was
gonna
it?
play.
Is he still on the original?
Bro, he got a
contract?
4 for 44. That's
Jesus.
a lot of money for a guy that had like 35 catches last year.
Did he have
Bro.
touchdowns though?
He had like 1 touchdown in that Chiefs game.
Yeah,
You
early,
see,
right?
at minimum, he has to be a red zone threat. That's it. That's all you really need. But
Hey, It is what it is, man. But overall draft was, I give us like a solid B, B
Okay.
minus. I think we just did what we had to do. There was nothing like to get excited about, like pick wise. But sometimes that's what you need.
So what would you have rather got? Like, let's say, like instead of the running back pick, or the O line, what was another spot you would have been like, I would have liked this to get one of these.
Probably safety, like where our safeties are kind of weak.
Okay.
Chuck Clark, who was really great with the Ravens towards ACL before the season even started last year. So he's coming back off that, and then we had like he's a second year player, Tony Adams. It's kind of weak. That's probably our
True.
weakest spot. Now that's why I wanted Justin Simmons. Maybe he comes in post
He's
June
still
1.
out there, right, on the market.
Still out there. All those
Yeah.
safeties are still out there. I think the June 1, after those
Yeah.
June 1 cuts go by and everybody gets more money, you'll start to see those guys
Oh,
fly off
gotcha.
like that day. You'll see like a ton of signings, I'm sure.
It's like the second part of free agency, really.
Yeah. Yeah, for
That's when
sure.
all the
Like
people. Well, that's when people cut.
Yeah.
that's when like a bunch of money comes off the books for a lot of players. Like for the Dolphins, Xavier Howard. After he leaves, we got like 15 million
He
plus
still
to
ain't get
open.
picked up either.
No, I don't know if you can get picked up prior to you still being on contract until that June 1st, but yeah, there'll be a
Oh,
lot of
true.
transactions. It's probably like 30% of the league will be bouncing everywhere.
They probably have like handshake deals. Like they probably reach
Yeah,
out with like, hey,
Verbal
look, like as
agreement.
soon as June 1 comes,
like it's
you're
all
gonna get
lined
it.
up pretty
Yeah,
much.
exactly.
They just don't know
Agreed
if
to
they can.
terms.
Right, I don't know if they can do it. But speaking of the Dolphins, so the whole Dixon Luna, the whole draft, you just weren't a big fan of, or just that first pick.
Nah, just that first pick. I mean, I like the rest of the moves that we made. I think we addressed all around things that we needed. Like Connor said, the receiver. I saw we got also like a few defensive picks. So I think it's just really that first pick. I would have liked for it to be more of a cornerstone. What did you think though about
The
the
f- I
teams?
would, I was, I mean, I didn't know who the player was until I did a little bit of research, highlights and stuff. I mean, it seems like he's a good pick. Some of the Dolphins guys I listen to say that he's somewhat of a project, and he'll still play 300 to 400 snaps, but probably a third down guy or something. So that
Right.
kind of sucks. I mean, hope the way the value of not the value, but the quality of player he is. I mean, he was probably fifth or sixth defensive player taken in the draft. I mean, that's getting in the 20s. Talking about what we brought up earlier. That's kind of like a wait and see for me. I would have also taken a defensive tackle or offensive line. I mean, there was a lot taken
Right,
in the
right.
first round, but I knew they were going to go with the second pick offensive line. The guy that they picked seems kind of to me a better fit and what they need to do because what I think with that pick, especially with his size, is pretty much they're trying to get another Teron Armstead, left tackle, massive, is super strong and agile. Which, I mean,
Yeah.
every team wants that, but that's the hope for it. Them trading up to get that running back in the fourth round on the Dolphins, him having a 4.38 speed is slow with the skill guys, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Do we still
Speed
got that
ability.
fool Jeff Wilson?
He's still on the roster, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
He'll hang
Yeah, I
around.
think we definitely needed a running back just because Mostert is older and
He's older, yeah.
A chain while he's super explosive, he's not an every down back. So
Nah,
I
hopefully
really
they
hope we don't plan to use him like that because that'll be minimalizing his potential.
definitely agree with that. Fifth round, they drafted N Koromora. He seems like quality player. I've read some quotes from him. I mean, I don't know anything about him. He went to a smaller school, I know that. But he does look like a physical freak. And then the two receivers that Connor brought up, the one from USC and I'm not sure where the other guy's from. You know,
Virginia
Is it Virginia?
led the nation in catches.
Wow, okay.
It's a lot.
So I mean, yeah, but we just wait and see. I mean, receivers are taken, all the time, and they could do well or they could not. But the late round picks, they might not even make the team, to be honest.
I got a question, man, about the Dolphins draft. How you guys feel in the sense of like you talked about it, like Chop not going to be an impact player right away. The offensive tackle not going to be an impact player right away. Then you get the running back. You got a couple already. Probably not going to be an impact player right away. I don't understand how that you guys, I mean, is that a good draft for you guys? I don't get it. Tell me all
So
about it.
to me, it's hard. It's obviously it's hard to say like we can say now a year removed or 2 years removed the last classes. Yeah, that was a good class. That was good. But having not seen them play and seen them, plugged into their organization, plugged into the system, and see how they blossom. Some guys. I mean, this is different with every team every year and every player with the rookies. Some guys develop quicker. Some guys don't develop. Some guys regress. I mean, it's the game of every year. So it's hard for me to say, is it a good draft? Having said that, our recent drafts, I mean, Greer is hitting probably around 50%, to be honest. And I would say that's a big reason why he still has his job, is because he's drafting guys of quality. It's just situation or Brian Flores debacle. I mean, it's just kind of what it is. And you kind of have to trust him. If he's batting 500, you got to go with it. So I can't say yes now, but he has had some bad misses. I mean, getting a corner 2 years ago that didn't even sift the field for 2 years in the second round. Like shit like that just goes swept under the rug because you drafted Wilkins. So you forget about that shit. You drafted Holland. You forget about that shit.
Yeah.
So I can't really say if it's a good draft or not, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking at it more in the sense of like, I think that we're all in a window right now, especially like the AFC East. Like the Bills are, their window looks like it closed, but kind of got more open. Ours is very, you know, it depends on Aaron, right? And
Yeah.
you guys have to pay Tua. You guys have to,
Yep.
you know, it's a win now league, but especially for the AFC East, besides the Patriots. So like that was my question. That was the basis of my question is like, wouldn't you want to try to get those big home run hitters or trade up for something kind of, important like the offensive line?
100%.
Because a pick before the Dolphins was like he was a top 10 overall rated pick was Troy Fatanu or whatever. I think it's from Oregon State.
Yeah.
Like trade up a pick or two,
Too. Yeah.
But that was more the basis of that kind of question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think it was. I think for this year, it wasn't a good draft. I think this is more of like a draft thinking ahead, thinking of in the future. But
Yeah, very
our
true.
window is now, so is that the right strategy? We'll have to wait and see. But I get what you mean.
I don't have an answer to this question, but is there a team that did the best in this draft?
I'm starting the Eagles bandwagon right now. Let's forget about
Oh
this
shit.
past year. Hey, let's forget
Oh
about it.
shit.
Let's forget
Okay.
about it. We're gonna skip from the Super Bowl year where Jalen Hurts was, league MVP, damn near, and we're gonna go from that year to this year coming up because it's gonna be very similar. I think the Eagles had a great draft. They addressed like we keep talking about. The white kid cornerback steal of the draft. That was probably their main concern, the secondary. So they addressed that. They got another few defensive pieces, a few offensive pieces to add on to the great offseason they were already having, picking up, Saquon and Hurns from Carolina. So I think the Eagles had a great draft. I just love what they've been doing all off season, and I'm all in on the Eagles 2025.
Shit. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think Fangio's gonna whip that
I like
defense into shape?
I like Fangio, old school guy.
Fucking bastard. Connor, your favorite team's draft. Not your favorite team, not the Jets, but who had the best draft to you?
I touched on it just a couple of seconds ago, but I definitely think it was the Steelers. And why is that? Because they piggybacked off of last year's big pick and Broderick Jones, who ended up being like one of the best like offensive tackles, especially as a rookie. But like I was saying, the kid Faltano, actually from Washington, was the second rated offensive guard and fell to pick 20, which is crazy. And Zach Frazier, their center, was the third ranked center in the draft, and they got him at like in the second round, pick like 20 or
Wow.
19.
Holy fuck.
So to kind of have that set up, like it's not even a cornerstone, it's a fucking wall of just absolute animals. But on the other side, if you think about it the other way, like more explosive, I think you have to kind of give it to the Bears. Like, You get your quarterback, then you add the second or first best receiver in the draft, and then you pair him up with DJ Moore. You pair him up with Keenan Allen. He's only going to get better just from learning from them. But just those three, and they got Gerald Everett from the Chargers, the tight end. So they're
He's
probably running
nice.
like a lot of 12 personnel. The kid's gonna have time to throw the football. He's gonna be comfortable. He's gonna be good, and that team is gonna be good. And I'm all in on the Bears. I was in on one with Fields, and I'm in on with Caleb too. I'm sticking with him, not leaving.
Dow Bears. What team's draft did you not like?
My most hated team is the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh,
Cowboys had probably one of
Shit
the
show.
drafts that they could have had. They went offensive tackle. They went defensive end, and then
They
went
already got
guard.
a good O line.
Thank you. And then they went linebacker. Like, you have the best linebacker. You got, yeah, like, I don't understand. I didn't understand any of the picks. For
Shit.
them, in my opinion, it's a win now year. I mean, Dak's got to get a lot of money. Parsons got to get a lot of money. CD's going to get a lot of money. Like, you got to do it now or next year. And I think they just missed on all of those. Not that they're not good players, but for the fit that the team that they're going into, it made no sense. No sense at all.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys have been moving like very reactionary for the last couple of years. I think all the media talk, all the pressure has started to affect even the way they move. Because to me, I've known them to always been great in the draft. They always pick up at least 1 to 2 literally like cornerstone pieces, whether that's Zach Martin, Michael Parsons, Ezekiel Elliott. So now that they're completely fumbling the bag like this, I'm like, oh, they're a mess for real.
for real, for real. So they pretty much lost the free agency period and lost the draft. That's what it
Pretty
sounds
much.
like, right?
What it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like, man. Um,
Two things real quick. Obviously the highlight of the draft was like the Bears. I think they did what the Dolphins did, Tyler, like a couple years ago, and was like completely changed their identity.
okay.
Like the Bears were like the Dolphins, like defense first, gritty, like tough. And I think they were like, man, this doesn't work anymore. We got to turn the page. Yeah, they're hella late, but I'm happy that they did it. Went all in on the offensive end, went all in on that side, and that's just what football is today. So I'm happy for Bears fans. I feel like we went through a very similar transition a couple years ago. And let me ask y'all another thing about their number 1 pick, Caleb Williams. What do y'all think about all the off-field stuff, the painting of the nails, the chrome hearts jacket? Like, do y'all read into that? Do y'all like cross that into what goes on the field? Do you think it'll be a distraction? Do you like it or not? Are you too manly for it? Like, what's up?
I don't think. I mean, it's like a different generation. Yeah, I sound like an old shit saying that, but it's a different generation. And as long as he's good, none of that shit matters, bro.
Okay.
If he's a winning quarterback, none of that shit matters. He paints his nails. Like, who gives a fuck, really, right?
Yeah.
We don't know if he's gay or not, which is, it's not a big
I don't
deal.
mean, yeah.
It's not a big deal. Like,
That don't
it's
mean he's like,
2024. Like, who
okay.
fucking cares? So it doesn't bother me at all. Like, if he balls, it'll be awesome for
Pause.
the league. As an NFL fan, and for the league, it'd be awesome. It's gonna be great. But if he doesn't, then that's when all that's gonna be a distraction. That's when all that's gonna be like, oh, he's not a good quarterback. Oh, because he walks on the left side of the sidewalk and he's such a different guy.
Well, that's the problem. Like, if it doesn't pan out, then he already has given them, bulletin
Ammunition.
material. What about you, Connor? What you think about the swag?
I mean, I think for I guess back in the day, you look at guys like Deion Sanders. Like, he had the suits, the
He was
chains
different,
out.
yeah.
Like, it was comparable to what in our generation now.
Definitely.
It's the same thing to me.
Yes.
The nails, it's like whatever. You see like these guys painting their nails all the time. I don't get it. I don't do it. But
Who fucking cares, right? Like,
No, I'm
yeah,
too
like, it's
manly
more.
for that
I
shit.
think that you'll probably see him make a lot of money from like brand deals by doing shit like he's doing now.
from
Yeah,
players
good
and
It
point.
shit.
might just be a business decision.
Players.
Like it just might be a business decision for him. He gets the
Maybe.
publicity, and that's it. But like it's for all of our teams in any sport. Like winning cures anything. Like if you
Yeah.
win, no one cares if you got pink hair and purple shoes.
They
Like
didn't care what Dennis Rodman was doing.
look at
You got face
look at
tats?
Dennis
That's
Rodman,
cool.
man. Exactly.
Nah,
So I
I
think
mean,
it's yeah.
I bring
All
that
right.
question up, but I personally love it. Tyler, you know me. I love like someone that disrupts the normal, someone that just
taking a shit
changes
on
the
a
game.
normal. Like you love
So
that
you
shit.
say like, yeah, it's good for the league. I think it's good and bad for the league. I think the league is a very old school kind of brand. So I think it's going to be very hard for them to accept it, but it'll be interesting to see because if he wins, if he's great, then they have to accept it. But like Connor said, Deion Sanders, Cam Newton, this is just the next version.
Yeah, Connor, you have anything else on the draft that you want to bring up?
I think we did a great job covering all the picks. I think we did a
Hell
good
yeah.
job.
Yo,
Hell
wait,
yeah.
hold on. One more thing.
Yeah.
When do y'all think in the draft there's like a dip off, like talent wise? Like, at what round do you say, all right, this goes from a good player to an average player? Like, to me, I think the third round is like, after that, it goes into like the next bucket of players. So,
Absolutely.
what do y'all think?
Third round is definitely, I feel like, where the cutoff is. I think that you still
Right,
find
right.
great players, but like those are the guys of your practice squad, the
Yeah.
tryout guys that might not make it and get picked up because somebody gets hurt. I think third round is really where things kind of dip off pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Connor. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, there's always exceptions, right? But sometimes drafts are deeper than others, But for the exception, yeah, I agree with that third round.
Ay, puta.